Hello and welcome back to Turnabout Substitution. Last time we left off, we found out that Ellermeyer had escaped the prison. Not the prison. The courthouse. He escaped the courthouse, and Paul Strings was in on it. And we're going to interrogate him now. As to why. Justice Strings, why did you go through the trouble of arranging Erlenmeyer's prison break and framing Chambers for his fake death? I had two reasons. The first was my son, though he may be a bit airheaded on occasion. A bit. He's a true genius when it comes to law. I could tell that he deserved to judge high-profile cases, but too often he was told that Chambers was the more experienced of the two. There was no one to set up my career for me, but my son is still just a boy. There is a weakness in his heart that prevents him from believing in himself. He needs assistance to maximize his considerable potential. Perhaps I thought that if I helped him in that regard, it would keep him from making the same mistakes I did. How can you act like you've been altruistic? You came close to destroying the life of a good, innocent man. You can't possibly justify that. A good man, you say? But how well do you really know this man? What do you know about the judge that presided over all your cases until now? I know plenty about him. He's been like a loving grandfather to me. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Well, I'm afraid that there are many things you do not know. Chambers the man and Chambers the judge are two very different people. The latter, I'm afraid, has done some inexcusable things in the past. I don't believe that. Of course not. I never said it would be easy, but what I tell you is the truth. Chambers would not make the right decision until it did not pose any risk to himself. And the sacrifices he made of theirs to protect his own security, frankly, it's rather disgusting. Are you implying that he allowed innocent men to be convicted? All that I'm trying to communicate is that this man does not deserve all of the respect that you have for him. That judges of important causes should hold office for a life is a disputable thing, for the mind grows old as well as the body, Aristotle once said. The city needs a new judge, one with a clean record. Well, he doesn't have a clean record anymore now, does he? I did what was necessary to make that a reality. You're a despicable man. Now hold your judgment. I am not yet finished. Now you are, man. Another reason guided my actions, and it was one far beyond the scope of a mere individual. I did all of this for justice. Lady Justice? You did this for justice? No, I did not do this for your sake, Mr. Justice. What I mean is an idea, a notion. Justice is a concept that was held in great regard by ancient civilizations so much more than it is today. It was evident in those times that the truth mattered more than political differences or other such irrelevant things. But now the expectation is just the opposite. Guilt or innocence is given second consideration to evidence and testimony, a lot of which is forgery and perjury. An innocent man too often is found guilty because of legal or political circumstances outside of his control. Many have lost sight of the meaning of justice, allowing themselves to be corrupted by outside influences. Judges like Chambers care more about themselves than those that they judge. We've kept records of the words of our ancestors, but we've completely forgotten their ideals. It is better to risk sparing a guilty person than to condemn an innocent one, Voltaire once said. You say all of that, but it's obvious what kind of person you are. You talk about values like justice, but in the end it's all about your own interests. You'd stab anyone you could in the back if it helped you get to the top, just like with Chambers. Do you think I don't know about myself? That disturbing quality has caused me great illness until now. Yeah, because you're behind bars. That is why I decided to prove the truth of my values, no matter what the cost. That is why I'm sitting in the detention center right now, being questioned by you. I stopped talking about doing good and actually did it. And yet, all I have received in return is contempt, because you're not doing good. But that is to be expected. At any rate, the two of you will not be the ones to judge my fate. How can you figure that you've been doing good by freeing a murderer? Murderer? A murderer is a person who kills people. That is something that Erlenmeyer has certainly never done, and I suspect that he is not even capable of it. How can you be so certain that Erlenmeyer is innocent? No person in their right mind would think that man is guilty. But Erlenmeyer confessed. And let's not forget he was diagnosed as a sociopath by numerous renowned psychologists. Or rather, You might say that he was diagnosed as a sociopath in light of his confession. It is clear that he is mentally unstable, at least. However, there is no evidence in his testimony of his own wrongdoings. Do you know how the investigation in that case was conducted? It was the most horrible affront to justice imaginable. The police were desperate for clues, and they were under considerable pressure from the government. No one had an explanation for these mysterious bus killings. They were terrifying because they seemed to be completely meaningless, almost random. Neither the clues nor the choice of victims made any sense, like puzzle pieces that were all from separate boxes. It all seemed terribly arbitrary. And that is why, when a poor, unstable man arrived at the police station confessing to the crimes, the police were all too eager to arrest him. It was much more convenient to explain the strange details of the case than to try to understand what the killer was trying to communicate. But it wasn't as random as you're trying to make it look. He was a science teacher after all, and those messages read Charles Darwin. In that light, it's pretty hard to think that there isn't some connection. Yeah, this explanation seems a lot more plausible than your conspiracy theories. But I believe that there is another possibility which was completely ignored in that investigation. Is it not possible, Mr. Justice, that the serial killer in these crimes is not really insane at all? What if this person were simply, purely and openly evil? Just evil? Come on, nothing's ever that simple. My son had a quote related to this, though I'm not sure which famous philosopher originally said it. It was something along these lines. Some men aren't looking for anything logical like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn. Wow. Well, who could this murderer be? What sane person would go around killing so many people just for the heck of it? To be honest, I do not know. I cannot prove it, but I am certain of it. A dark truth hides at the bottom of this case. I can't see it clearly, but I can tell that it's down there. But just a hunch won't be enough. Everything still points to Erlenmeyer. Don't you think it's possible that you're the one who isn't facing the truth here? I already knew that you would be hesitant to believe me. But if you should choose to put aside your preconception about this case, and consider what I have said, then I suggest looking into the HD5 case files in the police station. I think you will discover that there is much that you do not know about the mysterious bus killings. Well, perhaps I will. At any rate, thank you for taking this time to speak with us, Justice Strings. I think that this conversation may prove to benefit both of us, Mr. Justice. It is looking at things for a long time that ripens you and gives you a deeper understanding, Van Gogh once said. That was a mouthful, all of that. So, we need to go look at some case files, because I guess there are things we don't know. Okay, police station. Evidence room, okay. I was like, come on. Police headquarters, yes. No speeding that up. What are you doing here? Judge Strings? What are you doing here? Is it an echo in here? Ah! I'm getting smaller. What the heck? That's what I'm thinking too. Oh, it's you, Mr. Justice. I'm very sorry. I was just looking for some copies of the HD5 case files when you ambushed me like that. Ambushed. Strange. Isn't that Chambers' case, not yours? His sprite isn't scaling correctly. Well, nonetheless, I have been following it quite closely. After all, these cases are quite related, are they not? I suppose. At any rate, I know my father would never do something that wasn't right. Therefore, Erlenmeyer must surely be innocent. Naturally, I feared that I might find some sort of clues in the old case files. We find a new piece of the puzzle that would completely change how we look at it. Well, it just happens that we're looking for the same file. Do you think it would be alright if we took a copy? Well, of course. Most parts of the file are not open to the public anyway. Here, Mr. Justice, you may take my copy. I can easily make another for myself. You know what that means. Go look at them. The case files of the trial of Robert Erlenmeyer. HD5 incident. Courtroom number 6. Defense attorney Vivian Snow. Prosecutor Jessica Poole. Investigator Jake Marshall. Defendant Robert Erlenmeyer. Victim multiple. Cause of deaths. Various witnesses. Real wits. Oh. Verdict guilty. Current state closed. Accused Erlenmeyer crime. Multiple murders. Sentence life prison asylum. Special conditions. None. No bodies found. In the victim's bedrooms. Fake photos of victims naked were scattered around the room, forming a bust with view up close. The killer also left a music sheet signed by Charles Darwin. I'm gonna say it's in the way. Character profile. Yep. 5B negative, biology teacher. Yep. Victim data, Ed Zeppelin. Wow. Clarity Air. Mona Lot. What does that one have to do with anything? Jackpot. B. Woodman. Rick Roll. Noah Mousney. Drader Blue. Dan Druff. A. Chambers. Cerebellum. Nathan Witz. No apparent connection between victims other than their names. Their puns. Come on. Only connection police found was that every single victim was single and lived near Los Angeles area. There was no next. Okay. Well, thank you for that, mister. Say, you wouldn't have to know anything about where Erlenmeyer is hiding, would you? I apologize, but I really don't have a clue. I'll try my best to help you out, though. Looks like this guy is even more of a pushover when he isn't acting as a judge. Well, I guess we can talk to him now, huh? Oh, there's a lot there. In the next episode, we're gonna, let's go back. In the next episode, we're gonna save. We're gonna talk to G-Strings. Oh, stupid name pun. About where his Erlenmeyer abouts are. No, his whereabouts are. And, everything else. So, I will see you guys later. Until next time.